You know, Ceili was our daughter. She died of secondary leukemia after having been treated for another cancer 5 years ago now. And but Ceili was she had a huge heart, and she loved to connect with people, and she loved to volunteer and do service. And you know, she really was quite an inspiration to the people that knew her, including her parents. So after Ceili died, you know, we decided that we wanted to carry that legacy forward and encourage other people to serve and get involved in their communities the way Ceili did.
And one of those ways is through a scholarship that soon another winner will be announced.
That's right, yeah. So we've given 5 scholarships, and just in another week or two, we'll be giving our 6th Ceili Leahy Service Scholarship, which is awarded to a JM senior who has kind of a track record of service, kind of like Ceili's was. So we want to encourage those students to, you know, go either to college or technical school and continue their work and service activities.
You have to have thought, in these days with a pandemic and all, what would Ceili be doing during the time of a pandemic? Because she was so involved when she wasn't feeling well, when, you know, at all times in her life, she was involved in service, and I'm sure she would have continued to be involved in service in these times.
Yeah, you know, obviously the pandemic has been hard for everyone, you know, sort of the isolation. I think for Ceili that would have been a real challenge because she's such a people person, but I think Ceili is the kind of person that would stay connected. So she would have found ways through, you know, technology and safe in-person opportunities to meet with people and see her friends and connect with, you know, sort of the broader community. And I'm sure that she would have both volunteered. She was very passionate about certain organizations, Habitat for Humanity. So, you know, as those organizations learned how they could safely bring their volunteers back and you know, do work safely, she, I think, would have been at the vanguard of that. And I also know that she would have been encouraging her parents and her friends and others to be involved and, you know, do service safely.
Yeah.
It was, you know, one of the challenges for us to kind of, how do we transform the day of service into sort of virtual or safe service opportunities. And I think Ceili probably figured that all out a lot faster than we did.
Yeah, and so it kind of reminds me, when Ceili died, a parent came to Ceili's funeral because her son couldn't. And she's the one who came up with Find Your Inner Ceili. And I think that is something that we have kind of always think about, is as we wondering what would Ceili be doing. Of course we don't know, but I think she would have been making masks. So John made masks and made masks for his friends, and you know, we have promoted, you know, making masks or buying masks, or we gave you a mask.
I was going to say I have one.
You were safe.
Yes,
I mean,
you did.
Figured out how to do that.
Early days.
And I think Ceili would be writing letters for change. I think we started this pandemic, Black Lives Matter movement, and I think she would have continued that. And, you know, other people, the librarian at JM has all these books to help fight racism, and is part of this initiative of where, you know, can do service safely. But I also think she'd probably be working at Habitat, and I know I've been watching, you know, there's our local Habitat is still cranking out houses.
Yeah. People
are doing it safely. So it's really about that, finding that safety net that we all can do something safely and figure out where am I best suited. So, you know, it's, I think she would be promoting organizations to be a part of, and I bet you'd also probably would have wormed her way back to children's and done origami with the teens, because that's just what she would do. She'd have an appointment to go to see her doctors there.
Stay safe, but stay connected.
A lot about that is stay safe, stay connected, and that was so important. As for all the pandemic, is staying safe, and Ceili knew all about that. You know, 3 years with cancer,
with a, you know, suppressed immune system, we were conversant and sanitizing and wearing masks for
Yeah.
a long time before COVID.
Yeah, and so one of the things, you know, we've instead of just having these 1 day of service or 2 days of service a year, we're going to have a fall day of service and spend the next year, part of the year is finding that inner Ceili of them, that spark. What
Yeah.
do I want to do? And so hopefully they'll say Tree Fredericksburg is what I really want to do.
Yep.
And one of our students is now a tree steward. She's a junior JM. And I'm excited. She's gone through the class. And so she's found that little inner Ceili, and it's just others. So that's something that they can dig into and get to know and understand the cause and promote it to their friends. You know, we're excited to help students find that spark and that joy. And however they are going through this pandemic, whether they're not seeing people. I know a lot of students aren't going to class. They're all doing everything virtual. So it's just finding out what they're most comfortable doing and getting them involved. Because I think that's what Ceili would be doing during this pandemic, is keeping everyone engaged.
Connected and engaged.
Yeah.